did you know you can do a leap of faith in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker? In the mission Travel to the Mines, by going to the top of this house southeast of the map, you can actually jump off into a stack of hay just like in Assassin's Creed. You'll then have control of the haystack while Miller says,
"Back in the time of the Crusades, members of the Order of Assassins used what is called the Assassin's Straw Box to hide and get close to their enemies."
And keeping it until the end of the mission will add it to development. Unlike other boxes where Snake has to get out to attack enemies, using the Assassin's Straw Box allows the player to drag enemies inside and knock them out just like in Assassin's Creed. And having a partner will Fulton the enemy after dragging them in.
Now that's how an assassin operates.
But just like any other box, overusing it will eventually break it down, so watch out. This is just one of many amazing details found inside this underrated entry to the Metal Gear series. The Tanegashima musket might look like a regular rifle, but occasionally when firing this weapon at enemies, it'll cause a tornado to form and fling them outside the map back to Mother Base. Miller will even question what's going on if it happens repeatedly.
"We just got a report that an enemy soldier managed to hang on to the Fulton chopper. What's going on down there?"
But this isn't the only interesting weapon in the game. The electromagnetic wave gun is a callback to the Ghostbusters. Using it alone does no damage to enemies, so grabbing a partner that also has this weapon will charge the gun to fire a strong beam together. Similarly, the railgun does very little damage when firing it alone, especially when aimed at vehicles. But having a friend use the railgun dynamo will charge the weapon up to a maximum of 3 levels, which does a lot more damage. Being able to one-shot a standard vehicle and a decent amount to their elite variants. There's also a minigun that's really fun to use, and to my knowledge, this is the only time it's a playable weapon in the franchise, requiring an R&D level of 98 to develop, making it one of the strongest single-player rifles. But all of these don't compare to the ultimate co-op weapon, the human slingshot. Shout out to Trash or Treasure for letting me use his footage, because this weapon requires 4 players to use. 2 players need to hold up the support beams, 1 player pulls back the rubber, while the last one is used as a firing projectile that shines brighter than their heroism. Upon impact, the human slingshot will cause a flurry of fireworks to appear and knock out the player used as a projectile. The only problem with many of these cool weapons now is that you can't really use them unless you have a group of friends playing on the older system, and unlocking them can be a grind, especially for the slingshot, but more on that later. Peace Walker has some interesting side ops that are very different to the rest of the game, like the Puyan balloon defense I'm showing on screen, or the Ghost Paparazzi mission where you have to find the invisible ghost and take a picture of it. Using the sonar radar, you can sense their presence and track them down. Plus, in the Dead Man's Treasure mission, there's critically injured soldiers scattered around the map with their ghosts flying nearby. These ghosts will attack upon being detected, and although no type of damage works on them, going to their almost deceased bodies and performing CPR will drag their souls back and revive them, which is pretty cool. There's also the date missions with Paz and Kaz respectively, where you can interrogate them for some extra info.
"You were always my..."
As well as other crazy shenanigans only Big Boss can get away with. Or maybe not.
Creep!
Paz, I'm sorry. Don't walk away.
Plus, to S-rank the mission, you have to use encouraging co-op commands to increase their affection. Then use the love box to finish it off. Once you get the S rank, redo the mission in swimming trunks to find that they also changed costumes on the beach and back in the model viewer in the main menu. This applies to all other characters with a viewable model. This version of the mission basically allows you to be an even bigger creep to Paz, so thank you, Mr. Kojima. And as a cool side note, using the Walkman, if you play the Love Deterrence theme song, both Paz and Miller will start dancing, which is so cool since they both wrote the song. Interestingly, Monster Hunter also appears in extra ops as well. By listening to all of Chico's tapes, then playing Mission 29, go south to the beach area where you can find this talking cat at the dock. He'll then take you to the Monster Hunter Islands, which unlock the side ops. There's 3 different types of monsters you can fight, 2 of which, Rathalos and Tigress, are actually from the Monster Hunter series, while Gear Rex was specifically created for this collab with Peace Walker. Just like in Monster Hunter, you can blow up parts of their bodies, which will increase the chances of getting rare research items that you'll need to develop the unique weapons mentioned earlier. The Rathalos wings are used for the Tanegeshima musket, while the T-Rex fang, along with the Girex mucus, concentrate, and the super extract all contribute to the slingshot's development, which are all found in these side-up missions respectively. Plus, getting an S rank also helps your odds of finding these items. Speaking of which, Peace Walker has a lot of unique costumes to unlock. For example, S-ranking the Monster Hunter missions will give you fatigues with special effects respective to each monster. Unlike with regular skins, the T-Rex fatigue can knock back enemies with one roll, while the Rathalos skin can stop enemies from moving with co-op commands. Using the codec while wearing some costumes will cause characters to react in unique ways.
Hey, that looks good on you.
Have you lost your mind? What kind of gorilla goes around in something like that?
Ah, taking some fashion cues from me, eh? Sorry about the smell. I lent you a dirty uniform instead of a clean one.
Snake.
Aye, Snake! Put some clothes on!
Alright, no more uniforms. From now on, we're all going naked.
Amanda's costume is only available for female soldiers, but she also has a unique reaction.
Make sure you wash that before you give it back.
Plus, you can use the enemy units you fight against from the campaign in the online versus mode, which is pretty cool. And you probably didn't know that Japan got a lot of unique shirts for DLCs. These were mostly sponsors from brands, but still wish the West got these as well. Although using magazines to distract enemies is a feature seen in most other MGS titles, using the cookbook magazine will even make monsters stop for a few seconds to check it out. But this is just one of many small details in this game that we're about to rapid fire. Metal Gear Peace Walker will sometimes do a ground slam attack, which Big Boss can stop with these bare hands if you successfully mash the action button fast enough. You can also do this in Zeke's boss battle as well. This feat is so crazy that even other characters react to it.
How can anybody possibly throw a monster like that?
It is a miracle!
Mashing R1 in the cardboard box will also cause Snake to do this really fast dash that can also knock over enemies. Plus, you can use the cardboard box as a solid object to help you scale heights a lot better. Another cool feature is that the stun rod can be used to shock water, which also gets any guard standing inside. And finally, a lot of equipment from the Phantom Pain first appeared in Peace Walker, including being able to Fulton vehicle. But instead, you need to use the EM net and activate all 4 beacons before the stun runs out to successfully do it. But this is a lot easier to do in co-op. In the mission Infiltrate the Crater Base, Snake looks through a bunch of trucks looking for some nukes.
Metal Gear.
These trucks have a few different references to other Kojima titles inside, as well as Mr. Kojima himself. Finding Kojima here will also recruit him to your mother base as a soldier with a very special character description. In fact, some mother base soldiers also have funny character descriptions. I'll leave a link to the full list down below, but my favorites are these two about Santa Claus existing, which is a reference to this cassette tape with Big Boss and Huey.
What I do know is that NORAD tracks Santa Claus on its radar.
Nice one.
No, I'm serious. He's real, I tell ya.
Cecile Kojima Caminades is actually based off a real person who worked as the Kojima Productions community manager of France, whose name is also Cecile Caminades. What's interesting is that in the Japanese version, they pronounce her middle and last name as Kojima Caminandes, which in Japanese means something very special.
Cecile's name is a message. I don't believe it. Kojima is God.
In the date missions, I forgot to mention that both characters have some funny interactions depending on what you say.
Hydra! Hydra!
Hydra!
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Venceremos! Venceremos! Sweet dreams.
You mean in your arms?
Plus, after reaching max affinity, you can use the Sweet Dreams voice line to put them to sleep, which is pretty cool. And tapping Paz will even pop out a weapon blueprint that gets added to your inventory. In fact, these co-op commands can actually cause special effects to gameplay on the battlefield, like increasing movement speed, disabling running for the team, increase or completely decrease your camouflage meter respectively, or even make enemies turn away from suspicion. Because these battle cries sometimes require a ridiculous amount of heroism to unlock, even with my old 100-hour plus save file, I don't have all the rare ones, but when I do unlock them, I'll show them off in a later video or short, so be sure to subscribe. By selecting Recruit on the main menu and searching for soldiers, it'll unlock a unique side op where you have to beat 6 recruits in a CQC battle. Knocking out all soldiers within 1 minute will successfully complete the mission and recruit them to your mother base. They can be high ranked soldiers, so it's definitely a good way to level up your base. Early in Peace Walker's development, it was promoted as MGS 5, with Ground Zeroes planned to be released as DLC for the game on PSP or PS3, before running into development issues with the future titles. In a lot of ways, Peace Walker feels much more polished and complete compared to the V installments that came later on, especially because of the absence of any co-op gameplay, which is one of the funnest features in the entire franchise. Co-op allows you to snake in and synchronize with your partner, which increases your team's overall health and stealth percentage. You can help each other scale walls that aren't possible alone, as well as all the other cool co-op weapons and items I showed off earlier. Not to mention the versus ops, weapon levels that increase damage or effects the more you use them, being able to build up Zeke with other Metal Gear parts and send it out on outer ops missions, and the hundreds of achievements to try unlocking. For being such a content heavy PSP title, it's just a shame not many people got to try this game out. But just like Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain do have a lot of cool details as well, which you can find out more in this video here.